Many salutations, I am Tatsumari, and welcome to Observations. Just a quick announcement about something that I am slightly proud of is the completion of my water form. I will show it at the end of the episode. As I've stated in the past, it will never be as powerful as my innate control over the earth element. At most, I might be able to make a rather large wave at the beach, and when compared to the water dragons of my home plane Oldestai, it's dismal. I think it turned out pretty good, and I think you will too. Now, on to what I had in mind to talk about today. Losing one's magic or having one's magic stolen. This can take any number of forms. From many unicorns losing their magic as mentioned in the episode Horseplay, having Cutie Mark stolen and replaced from the episode The Cutie Map, to having it outright stolen by Tirek in Twilight's Kingdom. In the case of losing magic, we'll have to step into a bit of a headcanon territory. How would a pony, especially a unicorn, lose their magic in the first place? In the episode Horseplay, it was stated that every day, many unicorns would lose their magic for good in trying to raise the sun. But how though? Are they just using so much magic that they are draining themselves dry? If that's the case, is every unicorn born with what amounts to a magical battery that depletes with the years of usage? If that were the case, then unicorns like Starswirl the Bearded should be utterly devoid of magic. Additionally, any unicorn, or even alicorn for that matter, that uses mighty spells should be running out of magic all the more quickly. It is clear that whatever the source of their magic is, it's utterly depleted, making those ancient unicorns unable to perform any kind of magic afterward. Though I do find it strange that Starswirl didn't lose his powers during this time. A quick detour here. If Starswirl was able to keep his power, does this mean that he is much more potent than we assume, and the others supporting him in raising the sun weren't equipped to handle the effort needed? Or was Starswirl purposefully holding back? Was it his intention to thin the ranks of powerful unicorns enough that he would be one of only a few that would have magic, let alone powerful magic, and be revered as royalty, or even a deity? If this was his plan, it was working quite well, until of course Celestia came along. Once she emerged, he might have realized that if he tried to advance his goals, he would quickly be destroyed without so much as Celestia breaking a sweat. Sounds like another observation topic. I should write this down before I forget. Getting back on track, I think something slightly different is happening. I'll be tapping into my magical circuit theory from Observations 2. If you need a refresher, see the episode linked in the description below. What if all the magical circuits within the unicorns had to endure far more magical power than they could handle through extreme magical overload, even the circuits that weren't ever used? Yes, the task would be complete, but the refinement pathways would be shredded entirely beyond the body's healing abilities, beyond even magical healing. Not only would this cause excruciating pain for the unicorns in question, but it would also mean they would be left with no way to use controllable magic ever again. The well would still be there, and so would the direct access circuits, but all means for precise control of magic would be gone. This could almost mean these unicorns would suffer even lower status than an earth pony, it would seem, as they would only be able to perform physical labor, and not even magically assisted physical labor like earth ponies. However, what happens when a cutie mark is removed, or even replaced, such as in the episode The Cutie Map? It doesn't appear that the ability to use magic is lost, as there are a few unicorns shown using magic of some type. Perhaps removing it causes them to forget what they are individually gifted in, much like removing the spark plugs out of an engine. Everything else is there, just no way to ignite the special within one pony. We also see in that same episode the rest of the main six unable to use their specific talents or abilities after the loss of their marks. Fluttershy is unable to communicate with animals, Rainbow Dash becomes a weaker flyer than Fluttershy, Applejack just about loses all her strength, Pinkie Pie is unable to sustain positive and happy attitude, Rarity has no sense of style, and Twilight seems left unable to use any of her magic. Perhaps all their magical abilities are still present, they are just severely suppressed. We can see that the equals mark they are given seems to glow anytime their gifts come to the forefront. Perhaps the cutie mark is like a focus or even a regulator of magic for any pony's specific gift. All ponies must be so accustomed to having their mark, and through it having their abilities enhanced magically, that the removal of their mark leaves only their physical skills and strength. The most prominent examples of this are Applejack and Rainbow Dash. Applejack may be strong, mainly since being a farmer would naturally produce higher physical strength over time, but without her mark, she could no longer enhance her strength beyond what her body could provide naturally. The same could apply to Rainbow Dash. She may be unknowingly using magic to improve her wings and thus her flying speed to ridiculous levels. Without this regulator in place, she is reduced to her natural strength and flying ability. Though again, this could be due to the equal sign cutie mark severely suppressing their skills rather than removing it entirely. We see in School Rays that Rainbow is still quite a powerful flyer, just not the hypersonic light blue blur we are all accustomed to. But what if one were to have their magic stolen, such as what happened to just about all of Equestria when Tyrek absorbed every pony's magic for himself? What is happening there? Regardless of theory, it appears that whatever the source of their magical power is, it was removed forcefully. Through horns for unicorns, and for Earth Pony and Pegasi, it was probably pulled directly through their skin. As we can see, every pony's cutie mark fades, though I doubt it disappears. It might just become tough to see since there is no magic for it to regulate. Though if only their magic was taken, this should mean that every one of the ponies should have been able to still stand on their own. Perhaps it wasn't just their magical power taken. What if it was also the energy required to move? Possibly even life energy. This could mean that Tyrek was far closer to killing most of the ponies than the episode would lead you to believe. Taking their possible life energy might have been collateral damage, but it could also explain why Tyrek grew to such a large form. His body was assimilating all the life energy he gathered while taking away all the magic, which would also explain why every pony he stole magic from appeared unable to move and had dull gray eyes. They were all very near to death. But what about when the princesses transferred their magic to Twilight? Why did they seem to be less affected than all the other ponies? It may be due to them being more powerful, but I think it is something else. Perhaps it is because the princesses were choosing to be very specific, gathering all their power and feeding it directly into Twilight, whereas Tyrek, by contrast, wasn't trying to be careful or selective. The only thing he knew for sure, according to his backstory provided by Celestia, is that ponies had magic he wanted. Tyrek wouldn't know, nor would he care, what other internal systems the magic had become intertwined to. He just wanted the magic, and if it affected anything else, all the better, since no one would have the strength to stand up against him. In general, magic appears to be so intertwined into the lives of these ponies that it could very well be lethal to a pony if it were removed by force. If their magic is lost by some other means, it could be more a social detriment than a physical. Unicorns especially might suffer, as they seem to be a race of high society and royalty, while Pegasi and Earth ponies are almost locked into being the working class of Equestria. Any unicorn without magic could be very quickly shunned or underestimated, as we see happen to Tempest from the MLP movie after her horn was damaged. Possibly even worse, as Tempest could at least still use magic. Take Tyrek, for example. He may not have been powerful to begin with in the eyes of his father, as teased in the final episodes, and decided to steal magic to prove himself. He hadn't even lost his magic. He wasn't magically mighty, and thus was shunned. And then there's Grogar, at least the current iteration of him. From all appearances, once Gusty the Great stole his bell, that same pony could have sapped the old goat's power with his very own bell, and then hid it away. For all we know, Grogar himself could have been reduced to a laughingstock, as the only thing left to him would be his physical might. And that is not enough when compared to the scores of ponies and other creatures with magic on tap that had been living in fear under his iron hoof. And as far as we know, all of Grogar's power was put into that bell, leaving him powerless and ultimately shunned into obscurity. Whatever the case, it seems to have magic taken is life-threatening to all ponies, and losing magic permanently could be socially detrimental to a unicorn. If an Earth pony or Pegasus lost their magic, it would just mean that their physical abilities would be reduced to actual physical strength, rather than being assisted or even enhanced by magic. But what are some of your theories? I would love to hear from you, so let me know in the comments down below. If you wish to become a coin in my vault, be sure and hit that subscribe button. If you want to see more observations, check the description for the playlist containing all my observations so far. Also, if you have a topic you would like me to cover for a particular series, let me know and I'll see what I can find out about it and perhaps make an observation, but we'll see. So until next time, my friends,